mind your business and keep Will Smith's wife's name out your mouth.
It's like, it's hard. And I guess the thing that was most painful for me, I understand, how shocking that was for people, man.
Right.
The
Oscars slap might be old news, but Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy are keeping it alive with their bold takes on the drama. From Carrey's sharp criticism to Murphy's playful jabs, Hollywood's biggest names are weighing in, and Will Smith is feeling the heat. Eddie Murphy, the comedy legend we all know and love, has thrown some serious shade at Will Smith. If you remember, Eddie was one of the first celebs to speak out against Will's infamous Oscar slap, calling it a huge mistake. But now things have escalated. Eddie cracked a joke about the whole incident, and let's just say, Will wasn't laughing. Now, the situation is spiraling, and it seems like everyone's joining in on the drama, including Jim Carrey, who's had his own public issues with Will. This whole feud has turned into a wild ride of comedy roasts, unexpected alliances, and a lot of questions about how these stars are handling their fame. Let me fill you in on a Hollywood drama that just keeps getting juicier. The slap heard around the world, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, has been dissected from every angle. But the conversation isn't over, thanks to some big names chiming in, making the situation even more complex. Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy, both legendary comedic figures, have recently weighed in, reigniting the discussion and stirring the pot. It's the type of drama that Hollywood thrives on, and fans can't get enough. To take you back to the night it all went down, the 2020...
I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay.
22 Academy Awards were in full swing. Chris Rock, in typical fashion, took the stage and started cracking jokes. One, in particular, was aimed at Jada Pinkett Smith, who had shaved her head due to her ongoing battle with alopecia. Rock made a joke comparing her to G.I. Jane, and at first, the reaction seemed normal. Will Smith even appeared to chuckle, until he wasn't. Within moments, Smith was storming the stage and delivering a slap that would become the most infamous moment of the night. The crowd and millions of viewers at home were left in shock. What really caught everyone off guard was what happened after. Will returned to his seat, shouted at Rock to keep my wife's name out of your mouth, and minutes later took the stage again, but this time to accept the Best Actor Oscar for his role in King Richard. The audience gave him a standing ovation, and the night carried on, but it felt like something in the room had shifted. How did we go from a violent outburst to a moment of celebration so quickly? That's exactly the question Jim Carrey would ask in the days following the Oscars, and he wasn't afraid to hold Hollywood accountable for its contradictory reaction. In a now viral interview, Carrey didn't mince words. He called the standing ovation sickening, stating he was sickened by the standing ovation and that Hollywood was spineless en masse. Carrey couldn't wrap his head around how, moments after assaulting a fellow performer, Will was being celebrated and applauded by the very people who should have held him accountable. His comments sparked widespread conversation, with many agreeing that Hollywood's response was tone-deaf, while others felt sympathy for Will's emotional state that night. Carrey's outspokenness added a whole new layer to the debate. He pointed out how strange it was that the industry, which is often quick to cancel individuals over missteps, was giving Will a free pass. To Carrey, it was a sign of a deeper issue in Hollywood's culture, one where fame can overshadow behavior that would otherwise be condemned. His words resonated with many, especially those who felt the slap and the subsequent applause sent a mixed message about what's considered acceptable behavior in the industry. But Jim Carrey wasn't the only comedic legend to weigh in. Enter Eddie Murphy, a man who's never shied away from using humor to address tough situations. At the 80th Annual Golden Globe Awards, where he was honored with the prestigious Cecil B. DeMille Award, Murphy took his moment in the spotlight to add his own comedic twist to the infamous Oscars slap. As he was wrapping up his speech, he jokingly offered a blueprint for success that he said he'd followed throughout his career. The punchline? Pay your taxes, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's wife's name out of your fucking mouth. The crowd erupted in laughter, and Murphy's joke became an instant headline. Murphy's joke worked in classic Eddie fashion, lighthearted yet bold. He managed to address one of the most controversial moments in recent Hollywood history without coming off as mean-spirited. He turned what could have been an awkward moment into a laugh, reminding everyone of the power of comedy in diffusing tension. It was vintage Murphy, showing why he's still one of the sharpest minds in the business. Yet, while the audience laughed, it seems Will Smith wasn't as amused. Reports suggest that Smith was less than thrilled with Eddie's joke, especially considering the context of the prestigious event. After all, this was the Golden Globes, a celebration of the best in film and television, and Will might have been hoping that the Oscars incident would be left in the past. Instead, Murphy's joke brought it right back into the spotlight, much to the delight of the crowd, but likely to the discomfort of Will. And this isn't the first time Eddie has poked fun at the slap. Shortly after the Oscars, Murphy made light of the situation, joining a chorus of comedians who saw the incident as ripe for humor. But with Jim Carrey's serious critique of Hollywood and Eddie Murphy's comedic jabs, it's clear that the incident continues to divide opinions, even within the industry. Eddie Murphy's joke, while funny,
Just do these three things. Pay your taxes. Mind your business. And keep Will Smith's wife's name out your mouth!
also underscores how the comedic world operates differently from the rest of Hollywood. For comedians like Eddie and Jim, uncomfortable truths are often dealt with through humor or satire, a way to bring levity to otherwise tense situations. But for Will Smith, who's still dealing with the aftermath of the slap, it might feel like a never-ending cycle of public scrutiny, with his every move analyzed under a microscope. To add even more layers to this drama, let's not forget the involvement of another Hollywood heavyweight, P. Diddy. Following the slap, Diddy was one of the first to publicly comment, attempting to de-escalate the situation with humor while hosting the 50th anniversary segment of The Godfather. Diddy made light of the incident, suggesting that Will and Chris had already made peace. Whether or not that was true, Diddy's comments highlighted his long-standing friendship with Will, a bond that's been in the spotlight recently due to resurfaced rumors and wild stories about
But I was gone, dude. I was gone. That was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time.
the two. One of the most outrageous tales that's come back into the limelight involves a legendary Miami party hosted by Diddy in 2004. Will Smith was one of the high-profile guests, and reports from the time describe an event so over the top that it's become part of Hollywood lore. The wildest rumor? A buffet was allegedly served off a woman's body, with guests like Bruce Willis and Diana Ross in attendance. While this story has taken on a life of its own, it shows how Will and Diddy have been linked for years, their friendship surviving the ups and downs of Hollywood fame. But not all the rumors surrounding Will and Diddy are so light-hearted. Recently, a resurfaced interview with Jimmy Kimmel revealed Diddy laughing off speculation about a supposed romantic entanglement between Will, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Jennifer Lopez. Diddy dismissed the gossip as crazy, but the fact that these rumors keep surfacing only adds fuel to the fire surrounding Will's current public image. And this is where Eddie Murphy's perspective.
I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Becomes even more interesting. As someone who's been in the industry for decades, Eddie knows all too well how quickly public perception can shift. In his eyes, Will might be facing even more backlash now that the rumors involving Diddy are swirling again. Eddie's joke at the Golden Globes may have been a lighthearted dig, but it's clear he understands the gravity of the situation Will finds himself in. Hollywood is notoriously unforgiving when it comes to scandals, and with the Oscars slap still fresh in everyone's minds, Will could be in for a rough ride ahead. For Eddie Murphy, it's all part of the Hollywood game, using humor to navigate the chaos while staying in the spotlight. For Will Smith, however, the stakes are higher. He's been working to repair his reputation, but the combination of the Oscars incident, the resurfaced rumors, and the ongoing scrutiny is making that task harder. Will might be feeling the pressure now more than ever as he grapples with the consequences of his actions in an industry that's quick to both elevate and tear down its stars. In the end, this whole situation is a reminder of just how complicated Hollywood can be. With comedic legends like Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy weighing in, the conversation about Will Smith's slap is far from over. For Eddie, it's a chance to shine and make people laugh, while for Jim, it's an opportunity to call out the industry's hypocrisy. And for Will, it's another chapter in a story he likely wishes had ended the night of the Oscars. What do you think? Is Eddie Murphy's humor helping ease the tension, or is Will Smith still stuck in the middle of a public relations nightmare? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest Hollywood drama.